Hey, let's talk about the Cellular DNA and Genetics Lab. So click on Courses, click on the course, click on Course Content, click on Cell Cycle Genetics. As usually, you have an overview here over the material that we're going to do, and then a quick listing of the items that you're supposed to do. There's, as usually, the lab handout. If you click on the file, you get to the folder that contains the lab handouts, the PowerPoints, and the question sets. I'll click on the lab handout real quick to give you an idea of what this looks like. So it goes over the background information, the different phases, all of that kind of stuff. Talks about the exercises that you're supposed to do, and then it gets to the question set. And the question set contains all the questions that you're supposed to answer. Then you go to, you mark this as reviewed, so you're going to see the quizzes later on, right? Because if you don't mark it as reviewed, you're not going to see the quizzes. There's a lecture that goes over the materials. I would recommend you do look at the lecture, because I talk about mitosis a little different from the way normal instructors talk about mitosis. Then the demo is what you do in the lab, and I go over the kinds of stuff that are traditionally difficult. In this particular lab, it's not a difficult lab at all. There's two things that cause students trouble. Usually is getting started with a virtual child that causes people trouble. And then again, the calculation of the mitotic cycle causes people trouble. So look at that, make sure that you understand that. If you still have trouble with that after you look at the presentation, this is another virtual child explanation, and you can flip a coin with an actual coin, or you can flip a coin with a an electronic coin flipper. Then the onion root tip activity, that's probably the most difficult thing we're going to do for the cell cycle replication. There is, if you want to practice the onion root tip activity a little bit, because in the handout, there's a picture where you're supposed to, oops, wrong handout. There's a picture where you're supposed to identify what phases of the mitotic cycle these cells are in. And I go over how to do that in the demo part of the video. But if you want to get a little practice, you can click on here. There's a link to a virtual onion root tip activity. And if you go click next here, click next there, and then click next there, then you get on to an activity where you're identifying what these phases are, and you just click on this and it tells you whether you're correct or you're wrong. And again, I go over this in the demo part. Then once you review all these materials, you then see, if you clicked review for most of these items, you then see the cell cycle and genetics question set. And then you see this time you're going to turn in the actual pages, and it just tells you here what the pages are that you're turning in. There's an online genetics survey. You just click on this link and you fill out on this survey so you just put your initials right there. And then you use the pull down to tell us what your eye color is, what your earlobe is, and all that kind of stuff. Now, in order to be able to see what these traits are, you can click on traits, and it shows you what the different traits. So brown is pigmented, blue is free, and all that kind of stuff. So all of this is in there as part of that. So you fill that out in your lab handout in one of the pages. And then you turn in all the pages of your lab handout. So you can take pictures of it. You can do it in a Word document, however you want to submit it, as long as it's not Mac formats. So you're turning in page 2, 3, 5, 6, 14, 15, and 16. Last but not least, there's an additional little assignment of a true story that happened to me that I turned into a video that you can turn in as a bonus assignment. And that's it for the genetics part this week.